Hello and welcome to We Could Do It Better. I'm Jonah Maple here with my friend Grant Koven, and this is our last episode of this semester season.
So sad.
Episode 15.
Yeah.
It
what a season we've had.
Yeah.
You know, like this has been really fun to, the campus is empty right now, and we might be we might have like 2 or 3 listeners, but I'm proud of what we did. We've had a certainly good run, and we're going to be back for season 2 next semester.
Yep.
Where, the party's just getting started. So, without further ado, we're going to jump right into Multiverse of Movies. We are loaded with content today, so we're going to get right into it.
Yeah.
Jonah, take it away.
Yeah, a lot of stuff has been happening. Today, They always put the release. They always on the posters. They always say that the release date for movies is Fridays, but it's almost always on the Thursday.
Yeah.
Or at least in the Indiana area.
Mm-hmm.
Lord of the Rings: War of the Rohirrim and Koven released today.
Which are both rotten right now.
Yeah. War of the Rohirrim is like a Lord of the Rings animated prequel.
Mm-hmm.
I think it happens before The Hobbit.
I still haven't seen Lord of the Rings yet.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Which is weird with me being all the film major. I have not seen Lord of the Rings yet. So
yeah, I forgot about that. I
gotta get on top of that sometime.
There was a few solid months where I was bugging you once a week, which is great.
Well, what? It's like a 12-hour binge, right? Or something.
I mean,
like that?
If you watch them all at once,
okay.
You don't have to watch them all at once.
Yeah.
Koven, last time I checked, was at 14.
It's currently at 16% with 62 ratings.
Yeah, and take Rotten Tomatoes with a grain of salt, because they're not
with the Sony Cinematic Universe movies. It's gonna be pretty spot on, I think.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think, I don't know. It's weird because there are some movies that I think have been great, and Rotten Tomatoes are terrible, and also Rotten Tomatoes for some reason for I love animated TV shows. Some of my favorite media out there is animated TV shows, but also they are on some stuff Rotten Tomatoes is super harsh, and some stuff it's super not. And Koven is I think around where Madam Web is, if not worse.
Yeah, it's in the teens. I mean, yeah, Madam Web definitely did not do.
I think Madam Web ended
great.
up higher, which I was fine with Madam Web. I think that there was a good movie in there.
Madam Web is at 11.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
hey, it's at 15, but
55.
But
okay,
but it's at 55% on the
the
popcorn.
only reason why it's 55 is because it got turned into a meme. That's the only reason why it's doing higher.
Well, it you have to appreciate it as that, I think.
Right. I've heard people say that this Koven movie is not it's so bad it's good. It's so bad it's not even good in that manner. That's how awful it is, and I feel really bad. This could have been cool. I would have been excited to see the spin-offs of all of these characters if Sony had done it right. I mean, if they really started off strong with Venom, and I mean, if they this goes back to all when Venom should have been rated R from the beginning, right? That should have happened. Venom should have been rated R, because at that point, with Venom releasing in 2018, Deadpool proved that rated R superheroes can work. And now they opted for PG-13, and yes, they're able to probably do more crossovers and stuff like that, but it's a headache. It gives me a headache.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably going to see it. I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. Also, I work in a movie theater, so I get to see movies for free, so it's not when I see a bad movie, it's not oh my gosh, I can't believe I wasted $17 on this. It's well, this was 2 hours of my life.
Right.
But yeah, I'll see it. Maybe this weekend in an open movie theater, because I was working in the movie theater last night, and I looked to see how it would if people had bought tickets for it on Friday yet, and one of the 8:30 showings had nobody on it. So that's gonna be that's harsh. That's usually not the case for superhero movies. It's usually the exact opposite.
Yeah.
And then Lord of the Rings, there's not that many people there too.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll watch it. It's made by Peter Jackson, and I'm a Lord of the Rings fan, so I'll watch it. But
all right. Well, in other news, Chris Evans has been casted in Avengers Doomsday in an unknown role, when I first told you this, because we share a Google Doc where we collaborate, you had a theory.
Oh no, I was making jokes. Oh, okay. At first, I was just like putting in like a bunch of like joke characters that like it would be funny if he was this person like NFL Super Pro or Granny Smite or something like that. But then I realized, oh wait, he could be Molecule Man.
So that was a joke. You weren't actually like.
No, I think he could. Like I like you know a lot more about Molecule Man than me, but
now there was a previous rumor that had come out a couple months ago. Claiming that Robert Pattinson was actually in the running for Molecule Man.
I do remember that now.
So I'm not sure if that still is going to hold up necessarily. I don't know if Robert Pattinson is still going to... And in case you don't know who Molecule Man is, he's about as popular as the media lets him. Like, he's not a super, like, A-lister. Like, he's not... Like, he's been a... In terms of Secret Wars, if I'm going to explain this properly, he essentially serves as a battery to the world that Doctor Doom creates.
Yeah, he was key in both Secret Wars events and the other one that we don't talk about.
Right. So Robert Pattinson might appear into this, which would be crazy because it looks like DC and Marvel are just kind of exchanging actors at this point. So you thought Molecule Man, and I think that's completely and totally reasonable to think that might be the case. But I was watching Deadpool and Wolverine breakdowns earlier this morning, and I saw that there is Captain America's shield in Deadpool and Wolverine when they're in the Void. Do you know what kind of shield that was? Do you know where we've seen that shield before?
No, I've only seen it once. You've seen it like 10 times. So.
Secret Empire. That is when the internet lost its mind after Captain America said, "Hail Hydra." So we might be looking at a Hydra Captain America. Now, that would be interesting.
I'm sure.
If we're doing Secret Wars, and if we're colliding realities, we could have a Hydra Captain America. Or Captain Hydra.
Okay, fine.
Right? Like, that I mean, in the same desert, there was... the Secret, or not Secret Empire, the Secret Wars comic book. So you've got the Secret Wars comic book and the Secret Empire Captain America shield in the same desert.
I don't know.
Maybe I'm overthinking it.
But maybe I'm just.
Do you remember
tired.
how many people lost their minds when Captain America said "Hail Hydra"? Like, even people who didn't read comic books were losing their minds.
Yeah, it wasn't a good story.
No, it wasn't. But like,
I mean, I like Nick. Okay, it was written by Nick Spencer. I've read a lot of Nick Spencer stories that I like.
Yeah.
No shade to Nick Spencer. Like it was just a hard thing to do, and it was at a weird moment in time.
Yeah.
For that.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Also, in really weird news, Jeremy Allen White, who's known from The Bear, he's been cast as Rod of the Hutt, which is the son of Jabba the Hutt, in the new Mandalorian and Grogu movie, which apparently has started filming.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
So, Jabba the Hutt is dead, right?
Yeah, and a lot of his relatives were dead. I thought that Rhoda the Hutt was dead too. I don't know. It was a comic event, War with the Bounty Hunters, where I thought that like where they killed all of the Hutts, but I could be wrong, or they could just be ignoring.
But it's a weird cat. Like, I mean, I guess someone has to voice. If you're gonna do Rhoda the Hutt, you're going to have someone cast it. But I keep thinking of scenes from The Bear, and I'm like, this is gonna be really weird.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I haven't seen The Bear.
I haven't either. I've just seen clips of it on Instagram.
Is Jeremy? Well, I have seen a bit of Shameless. Is Jeremy Allen White like the lead in The Bear?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. He's a good actor.
He is a good actor. Yeah. So I'm just, it's kind of weird, but whatever. Take it away with.
All right, we do have news that I think a lot of, I don't know how many people care about. This was cool to me, and then I remembered more about it and like read a little bit more about it. It's like, oh, this is super weird. So one of my favorite book series when I was a kid was Fablehaven. It's like a fantasy series by Brandon Mull, and it's been announced. Brandon Mull announced it via Facebook that Angel Studios is going to adapt a Fablehaven movie, and it's slated to release in 2026. So it was like really cool. It was like, wait, Angel Studios. Mm-hmm. Oh no, because that's like the the hyper Christian hyper Christian group that like released like a movie with like ties to QAnon people, and I'm scared.
Right.
I'm scared. I mean, like he approved the sale, but he also might not have. I don't know how much control they're gonna let him have it. I don't know if they're gonna try to do something weird. And there's been a lot of other kind of shady stuff Angel Studios has done. Like they started off just like stealing like a bunch of like main content, and then taking all of like the explicit stuff out of it and just like having it as their own streaming service, which was like super illegal. And like they were funded at some point in time by like someone who did $89 million of Medicare fraud. So I don't know. I'm scared. I'll watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
But I mean, it's cool that it's getting adapted.
Yeah.
I've thought for a long time, this is like a book, like not everything needs to be adapted, but this is like Harry Potter is like, oh, this is like I don't think Brandon Moore wrote it to be adapted because it works really well on its own as a book series. But I was like, oh yeah, this should be, like if they get like if you put a lot of money into this, then this could be really cool because it's super fantastical. It's set in the it's set in the modern day, but it's like there's like the most magic I've ever seen in like any book series I've ever read, and the world building's really cool. The writing's really good. The characters are amazing. But yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Yes, we will.
For any what are fans of Fablehaven called? Caretakers? I think that's it. I think that's what Brandon Moore calls us.
Yeah.
All right. We do have some more news from DC Studios.
Yeah, more news pouring out from DC. A Clayface movie has been greenlit by DC Studios. We do not know if this is going to be animated or live action yet. I'm going to say
I hope live action.
I think it's going to be live action. And it's going to be directed by Mike Flanagan, who did The Fall of the House of Usher, which I actually just watched earlier this year and loved it. Mike Flanagan also has a bunch of credits in the horror movie industry, which gives me a lot of faith in this adaptation because Clayface is ultimately like a tragedy.
He's a great villain.
And tons of body horror because I was doing some last minute research. And there's been multiple different origin stories for Clayface.
Oh, yeah. I know it all.
Yeah, I didn't because I'm the Marvel guy, not the DC guy. So you've got like radioactive pools. You got experimental anti-aging makeup that goes wrong. So like expect body horror, but he's essentially just a shapeshifter. He can, kind of morph into whoever and whatever he wants. But this makes for it really interesting because there's been heavy rumors about Clayface joining Matt Reeves' Batman universe with Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
So it's like, are we going to have two different Clayfaces, or could this Clayface movie maybe take place in Matt Reeves' universe since he doesn't have to direct everything?
I don't know. I will say this. I am a little tired when I first saw this. Like I'm kind of tired of like really like another villain movie. But I think I've had this opinion for a couple of years. Is like if you're gonna make a villain movie, like
it's at least something new. It's
something
new.
Like Clay. I do think Clayface would be like the best option,
right?
Because like his story there like
and
doesn't
horror,
even necessarily
like a DC horror-esque movie would be so cool.
Yeah, like he is like a horror monster.
Yeah.
And you could like probably like put it in like that old like old like Universal monsters. Like he's basically a Universal monster.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's like what his whole thing is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be really cool. I assume that they're going to do the Basil Carlo revised origin, which is the one that from modern comics and the animated series, where they perfected it, but they just changed the name.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm excited for that. I mean, I haven't seen any Mike Flanagan movies, but you've told me, and I've got
confidence.
Good.
I think he's gonna do well.
Yeah.
Also, because Disney cannot get enough of their live action remakes, we are getting a live action Tangled movie. with the Greatest Showman director Michael Gracie to direct. That comes from Rotten Tomatoes. And I just want to know why. Like, I know this is going to bring people to the theater, but, like, we got to stop it with the
just watch
remakes.
Tangled.
Right.
Tangled is so good.
Now, like, people were trying to say, like, oh, this could be really cool. And I think Zachary Levi, who played Flynn Rider as a voice actor, he has expressed interest in playing, like, the parents of Rapunzel, which I guess would be kind of like a cute moment. Like, it's kind of like in Wicked, where you've got, like, Idina Menzel and Kristen Chenoweth as, you know, the godmothers, I guess, who bestow the roles onto Elphaba and Glinda, or Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande. But, like, other than that, I'm just kind of like, we don't need another Disney remake. But they're gonna make profit, and Disney knows it, so good for them.
Okay, I'm not going to pretend to be a marketing expert or a movie theater expert.
Yeah.
But people will take their. But I know from working for a year and a half at a movie theater, if you market a kid, like, if there's a kids movie in the movie theater, and like people will go see it, no matter. Because people just take their kids to see whatever kids movie there is right now.
Yeah.
Like there was 2 months when there was no kids movies in the movie theater, and like there'd be families who just, like, walk in and be like, are there any kids movies right now? And I'm like, not really. There's, like, this kind of, but, like,
right.
I'll tell you what's in it, and you can, like, make up your mind.
Yeah.
And then there'd be other months where, like, there was a kids movie that did terrible. There's a movie, like, marketed at kids that did terrible opening weekend, but for, like, 2 months it was the only one in the movie theaters. So, like, and then it ended up making a huge amount of money.
Yeah.
So I think if you just say, hey, we're remastering Tangled, and just have ads and say, hey, it's out again, take your kids to see it, then I think kids, like, I don't know, it's just a pet peeve.
Because re-releases do work.
Yeah.
Too. Like, I've gone to see a couple of movies re-released in theaters, and it's been great. Like, a couple years back, they re-released John Carpenter's 1978 Halloween movie, and the auditorium was packed. Because people will go see old movies or older movies again. It's weird to even call Tangled an older movie. Like, I feel like not enough time has passed to get a remake. Like, we're getting a Snow White remake just soon enough of a Tangled remake. Like, that doesn't.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's weird.
Like, remaking some stuff from, like, 100 years ago makes sense. Please don't remake Wizard of Oz. But, like, other stuff from, like, 100 years ago makes sense. But, like, remaking stuff that was, like, 10 years ago when, like, CG, like, that was made with CG animated. Like it wasn't even 2D animated. It was made with CG animated. And I feel like this might be, like, a weird thing to be, like, upset about. But I was working last night, cleaning a movie theater until 2:10 a.m. So I'm tired.
Yeah.
So sorry about that.
Lastly, before we go on to our Don't Change the Channel, a cute little ad dropped today. Ryan Reynolds posted to his Instagram, and Deadpool, and his kid, who's actually Kidpool, are in a sleigh fighting sick kids. And no, not like fisticuffs, like decking children with, you know, horrible diseases. They're trying to put an end to sickness, and then for whatever reason, Linda Carter shows up, and you think she's going to do a Wonder Woman transformation, and she just transforms and wears the same sweater that Ryan Reynolds got pranked with a couple years back, which was it was kind of strange, kind of funny. I was kind of hoping that when Deadpool or Ryan Reynolds was posting this to his Instagram, like behind the scenes stuff, I was hoping for a Deadpool special presentation, like a Christmas special. That'd be kind of neat, but whatever.
It was cool. It was sweet.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, we're going to move on to Don't Change the Channel. The only thing we have on the docket, because I still have not finished Superman and Lois because it's finals week, I've been busy.
Yeah.
Is Creature Commandos. I've seen the first 2 episodes. You've seen the first 3. The third one.
But we're not going to talk. Really, we're just going to save most of Creature Commando stuff until after break when all the episodes come out.
Yeah, so this is going to be spoiler free.
So we're just going to touch lightly on 1 and 2. because there might be a lot of people in the same boat where they haven't gotten to Creature Commandos yet. But for those who don't even know who the Creature Commandos is, this is a project from James Gunn, who brought you the Guardians of the Galaxy and currently Superman, and is currently taking over DC right now. And it's an animated show that is very similar like the Suicide Squad, except it's completely composed of monsters. And it's horrifically gory, it's violent, it's sexual, and there's tons of profanity. So it's James Gunn's dream work.
It is the most James Gunn thing I have ever he didn't do the animation direction. He wrote it and did the voice direction. But this is the most James Gunn project
I love it.
Has ever James Gunn.
You said last week that you knew I would love it, and I do.
Yeah.
Because I love monsters so much, and especially in the last episode, this isn't so much as a spoiler, but we get to dive into G.I. Robot's past.
Oh man, because that was my favorite character from the first game, because he liked hurting Nazis.
Yes, and boy, yes he does. So you're able, and the thumbnail for the third episode is him back in World War II with a bunch of people. People you will actually know, Jonah, in the show. But my jaw was dropped multiple times throughout the show. There were some jaw-dropping moments. It was a little predictable. There were some predictable moments where I was watching this and I'm like, yep, this is going to happen. And it did. That might be just because I've studied filmmaking and I know what devices are used to... you know what? I'm gonna shut my mouth because I don't want to give anything away.
I will say, I think it is a little overhyped, especially on the.
You think it's overhyped?
On the criticals review, because it's just it feels samey to me. It feels too much like James Gunn's other stuff, which it's so good. No, because of everything.
Or people or him assembling ragtag teams and...
Yeah, I mean, it's another Suicide Squad thing. And that's fine to me.
Well, of course it is, because they're not allowed to use humans anymore. That's the premise of Creature Commandos, is this takes place after the Suicide Squad, and afterwards, after Amanda Waller got exposed, essentially, she's been forced to stop using humans in her Suicide Squads. So from here on out, she's strictly using monsters.
Yeah.
So.
Which probably won't last long.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love James Gunn. He's made a lot of good stuff I like, but it feels the most James. The main character looks like James Gunn, and there's weird sexual stuff there.
Well, no, it's supposed to look like Frank Grillo.
It looks a lot more like James Gunn than it looks like
He's
Frank
going
Grillo.
to get a live action appearance in Superman.
Yeah, I know, but he looks a lot like that character.
Well, James Gunn already got his animated look.
James Gunn, no, but that. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff there. There's a lot of stuff to like. There's a lot of things.
Is it just the white hair? Is it the white hair?
I'll show you pictures side by side.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, if you like James Gunn, it's a solid overview. If you don't need to know what Creature Commandos are, I mean, no one knows what Creature Commandos are, and I say this as a huge DC nerd. They haven't had a book in 20 years. And
yeah. But it is highly enjoyable. You don't need to do any research. You can go into this, and honestly,
it is fun.
Everything, you don't even have to do any homework. You could watch the Suicide Squad, and you could watch Peacemaker before you watch this, but that's not needed to know before you start this, really.
Yeah.
It gives you all the context you need.
Yeah.
So.
All right, we're going to move on to Game Over, and this is going to be mostly you.
Do we have a lot
There's a lot of stuff this week.
This is the longest Game Over segment we've ever had, because video game news just blew up over the course of a week. And it'll still be interesting and relevant. I'm going to try to dumb this down in terms where still everyone can understand. But yeah, so first of all, Marvel Rivals dropped last week, which was horribly inconvenient because that was right on the heels of me studying for finals, and luckily I managed to get away with decent grades, but Marvel Rivals was not helping me at all. But Marvel Rivals, I started off on a really negative note towards Marvel Rivals. You had all the sweats that came in from Overwatch, and so Overwatch is pretty much Marvel's biggest competitor, or Marvel Rivals' biggest competitor, because the gameplay is almost identical. Marvel Rivals has taken the same abilities from some Overwatch characters and made them into you can totally see the similarities.
Yeah.
And since then, Overwatch player population dropped drastically while Marvel's has skyrocketed. And after just about a week of playing, I can say that Marvel Rivals is a lot more enjoyable. It took me a while. I was getting absolutely demolished by people who had migrated from Overwatch over to Marvel Rivals, but then they've started ranked matchmaking, so it'll be easier to kind of get people with similar playstyles. So I've been able to load in, and my games seem very split. I'm winning half my games, I'm losing half my games.
Okay.
So it's getting a lot more balanced. We've got a ton of characters that have been rumored, like Fantastic Four, Blade. I think I mentioned this a little bit last
33 week. Already, right?
The roster is huge. I'm actually getting really good with Rocket Raccoon and Groot. So much fun. But yeah, so Marvel Rivals is doing amazing. They're pushing a bunch of updates out. They're making sure you can, play well and you're having fun. But matchmaking is something else. Sometimes with Overwatch, you have to wait a little bit with your queue, to wait for a game. The second I press the button on my controller that I'm ready to be put into a match, it instantly puts me in a match. That's how much players are playing right now, is you can instantly go into a game.
That's cool.
Which is insane. Wait times have been unlike anything I've experienced before, and it's amazing.
Yeah, I don't really play video games. I haven't had a chance. I do want to play this. I haven't had a chance to yet because of finals and stuff. I just finished yesterday at 7:30 p.m. and then I went straight to work, work. But I've really heard only good things about it.
Yeah. I started off kind of negative, but it has gotten better. Yeah.
Yeah, and it looks really fun.
And the cool thing about this is they do have a practice grounds. So if you don't want to step into a match and just get absolutely annihilated by everyone who's been playing for already a week, you can actually go into a match and they'll give you practice dummies to fight.
Oh, that's cool.
And so you can learn how to play as a character before you get put into a game.
Yeah,
I spent actually probably a couple of hours in the training grounds because it takes a while to get get a figure on how these characters work. But once you can get a grip of, how they work, like Groot, I thought was impossible to play as when I started playing, but now I'm getting MVP, which is a title you get for being the most helpful player on your team. So it's a lot of fun. I did play that more than OG Fortnite because that also dropped. I don't know if you remember, but I did talk about that these two games were going to be, kind of eyeing it out. And it's been interesting. So I did try OG Fortnite, and it's filled with sweats. It's because the fun thing about Fortnite back when I was playing it and when you were playing it was everyone was on the same playing grounds. Everyone just started playing the game.
Yeah.
Whereas in OG Fortnite, now you've got the sweats who know how the game work.
Yeah.
They spent years on this game, and it's now no longer fun. So I haven't done a lot of OG Fortnite.
Yeah, that was about when I stopped playing, when that became a bigger issue, because I was playing for I don't know, around a year.
Yeah.
Off and on. And then I was oh, I'm never going to win again.
Yeah. No, and that's the problem is since then they have put bots in the lobbies, so they're just, people you can kind of eliminate easier.
Yeah.
Which has been better. They have pushed out updates because they had this huge problem where, ammo boxes weren't giving out enough ammo. You had barely any shields to start with, and that was very much like OG Fortnite, but Fortnite got enough pushback from the community saying that they wanted these in, so that's what they opted to do. Other Fortnite news, we got 2 new LEGO game modes. One called LEGO Odyssey, which kind of acts as a exploration danger game, which is weird because it's kind of what Lego Fortnite was already, except there's just more boss fights and it's harder to make things, harder to make weapons. Lego Fortnite is not doing as well as I thought it would be doing. I was oh, you're putting these 2 massive entities together, this is going to be amazing. It's kind of falling flat. Like I'll play like Lego Odyssey if I still want to play Fortnite, but I'm really tired of getting eliminated. But it's not hitting the same way that I was hoping it to. And then Brick Life just got released today, and it's essentially just a massive cityscape with Roblox like roleplay.
But it's Lego.
But it's Lego Fortnite.
Huh.
I'm gonna tread lightly here, but I was already seeing, because there are chat logs, and it was already getting kind of gross. And that's the most I'm gonna say, is you've got a bunch of different people, like you've got 100 different people in this lobby that are able to talk, and things were already getting a little disturbing.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all.
Right, but it's just sad, because really, this game mode just dropped at 9 a.m. Eastern time today, and it's already getting gross. So, whatever.
Yeah.
Lastly, I was able to.
You got two things.
Well, no. In terms of Fortnite news.
Okay.
Lastly, in the realm of Fortnite, I was able to do early access for a new game mode, which was pretty neat. It's called Ballistic. It's a 5 versus 5 person. It's a first-person POV shooter.
Okay.
So it's the third-person point of view where you can see your character. You can see the gloves that your character wears, but other than that, unless you're emoting, you can't see anyone else. They've only got one game mode right now, which is Defuse the Bomb, which is you'll have attackers who try to put this suitcase bomb in an area and detonate it, and then you'll have the defenders, which try to prevent the bomb from even being placed on the site.
Oh, so like Rainbow Six Siege.
Exactly like that. It's exact. I was missing the. You just made a video game reference.
I know. I had a friend who played it.
Okay. Yeah. So it's a lot like Rainbow Six Siege right now. It's okay. It's definitely going through some rough patches. There's a reason why it's in early access. I have a feeling they're going to be doing polishing with it, because right now it's kind of acting as just a creative mode map. They haven't done victory royales and stuff like that. So it's just an early access. I'm not going to try to be too harsh and too critical with it, because it does seem like we just need more game modes. We need more game modes than just something like Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah.
We need deathmatch eliminations and escort the payload, stuff like that. And then so Rocksteady. Some people might know what Rocksteady does. They've made a lot of really good DC video games, right? They did the Arkham series, which was critically acclaimed, amazing. And then they came out with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, which was widely anticipated for years.
Yeah, it was 6 years, because I remember early high school, late middle school, you showing me a trailer for that.
Right. And I was so excited. It was the reason why I got a PS5. And then I got to play it. I think it was over the summer. Yeah, I think I played it.
I think it was over the winter.
Was it yeah, it was last winter.
Yeah.
We got our hands on it. I did enjoy the story. The story was interesting. A lot of people hated that you had to kill Batman as the final boss. Sorry, spoilers, but you'll come to realize they started doing a paddle pass. They tried to copy Fortnite in that way, and it did not work. After you got through the story, I pretty much never played the game, which was a waste of the $60, $70 that you had to pay for that. And now they're shutting down all the servers after its fourth season, which they've been averaging less than 100 players per day. So they're not doing well.
Oh, that's low.
That is really low. So it's about time that it was just kill shot, put it down. It's time to.
That must be lower than Battlefront 2.
Yeah. Well, Battlefront 2 is so widely popular, at least in my eyes, because people there's still. It's still a good Star Wars game.
Yeah, that was the only Star Wars game. That was the only video game I played for a long time.
Yeah.
And I played it up until a year ago, and at some times I had a weird schedule because I was working night shift, so sometimes I had trouble finding a lobby, but most of the time you could find a lobby, and there were still Discord I didn't join any, but people tried to get me to join there were still Discord servers out for Battlefront 2, which came out in 2017.
Yeah, and it's still doing good. Ewok Hunt scares the crap out of me still.
Yeah.
Finally, in game over news, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle just came out, and it sounds like the best Indiana Jones installment since The Last Crusade. We're not going to talk about Crystal Skull.
I think, okay, 5 seconds. I think Crystal Skull is overhated.
Okay, but it does not compare to the original trilogy. I didn't say...
I don't think it's that much worse than Temple of Doom. I've seen Temple of Doom.
Whoa.
Okay, I've seen Temple of Doom a lot of times because we had it on CD and I've watched it in the car.
I love
like
Temple
10
of
times.
Doom.
It's fine. It's okay.
Wow. Is it
It's
because
a
of the
little bit
effects
better
or
than-
what?
It's just not a like this. Like it's. I don't know.
I love okay, whatever. We do have to get through this, but the Great Circle sounds like a really fun Indiana Jones game. You'll get to reenact all of the scenes from some of the best moments from Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
I saw some gameplay of Indiana Jones swapping out the Statue of Fertility.
Yeah, I saw that.
And outrunning the boulder.
It looked like more like a cutscene. I don't know.
It does. Well, I'm sure it was a cutscene.
Okay.
I did get to see the actual visual gaming mechanics of outrunning the boulder, which looked fun and scary at the same time because the boulder was huge, just like in the game or in the movie. But you'll be able to play not just some of the iconic moments from the Indiana Jones movies, but you'll also be able to explore, this great circle that they're talking about. So,
Final thing. Do you get to punch Nazis?
Duh.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah, you should. At least that should be a thing. I don't think it's confirmed or not, but like if this is taking place the same time around all the Indiana Jones stuff, I would assume.
If you have
Nazis.
a movie that takes place during World War II, you have to be able to do that.
Actually, yes, I did see gameplay, and you do get to punch Nazis.
Okay, great.
So,
okay, moving on to Comics Corner. This is shorter than usual because you haven't had time to read any at all, and I just got mine today. I mean, I picked up 4 comics. I have and I've only gotten to read 2 of them. I read Uncanny X-Men number 7. This is the second part of the Raid on Grey Marken crossover. Although like they've kind of been building to it like as a separate thing, as a subplot for a couple issues. And actually, Uncanny. If you remember Uncanny X-Men number 6 came out last week. That's because the schedule is weird because they're releasing 16 issues per year, not 12 that is normal. Or like sometimes or sometimes they'll do 24, but almost every book is 12, and then like Batman they've done 24 for a while, and they used to do that with Superman. This is really this is really good. It's written by Gail Simone. I think it's probably the best written single issue of this run so far, which I've liked. I think some people have been too harsh on. I think some people have just a couple people.
Yeah.
But overall, people are liking it. I think this is the best written issue. Some of the art is a little weird because there's once again it's 16 issues per year, so there's 2 pencilers this issue. So that's kind of a little weird, and they kind of tried to fit it in with it's a crossover, so it's.
Oh, so
however,
one penciler doing one side of the characters, one penciler
doing
the other.
Kind of,
okay.
But it's not distinct enough where it feels it doesn't feel intentional enough.
Yeah,
it just feels a little off. But besides that, it's still pretty good. It's still very good. It's still worth reading. Another cool thing about this crossover, you only need to read one half of it, according to Gail Simone over Blue Sky and stuff like that. I also read Action Comics. It stays good. Again, the story is progressing. There's been some twists in some stuff. Mark Waid and Riko Tamaki have thrown me for that I definitely was not expecting to happen, and I was kind of confused that this hasn't been referenced yet. But I also wouldn't be surprised if Mark Waid wrote this a while ago. Mm-hmm. And I also picked up FML number 2, which is a fun. I haven't read this issue yet, by Kelsey DeConnick and Mateus Lopez and other people. I haven't read it yet, but it's the first issue was good. It's good if you like Scott Pilgrim, you'll probably like it. I also picked up City Beneath Her Feet, a plus size distillery comic by James Tynion IV, Elsa Charretier, and other people. But I also haven't had time to read it yet. But this has been one of my most anticipated books of the year. Besides New Gods #1, which is coming next week, which is my most anticipated book of the season after Absolute Wonder Woman. And so now we're going to move on to our main event, which is our
sentimental recap of everything that happened this year.
And the way we're going to do that is we're going to give our favorites and maybe like a runner-up or honorable mention for a bunch of categories this year, like a favorite video game, movie, TV show, album, song, book, ongoing series, ongoing comic series, like favorite graphic novel or limited series, favorite comic event or crossover, and favorite individual comic issue. Of course, I don't really play video games, so I'm not going to have a video game, and Grant doesn't read books without pictures in them, so he's not going to have that. So it's evened out. Like, no shade.
My books have to have pictures in them, Jonah.
No shade. I mean, I mostly read I also just was just working and not at school for a long time, so I've had more time this year than I usually have. So do you want to actually you'll start off first since I don't have it, since we're doing video games.
Sure. Well, you know what, I'm gonna prematurely put you down as your favorite video game is going to be Marvel Rivals. I think you are going to end up liking it, and especially when you go home, if you can download that on your Xbox, I think
I might be able to. I don't know. It's not my Xbox.
And
we might not have room for it.
What is it, Sam Adams?
Adam and my dad. It's my little brother and my dad's.
Well, surely they can share. They'll understand.
Well, and Sam also plays. I don't know if there's room.
Okay. Well, we'll figure that out. But yes, my favorite video game is actually kind of funny because it released back in 2023, but because I still play it a lot, I can't have people vouch for me because my roommates especially and my girlfriend have walked in on me just playing this for fun, but I will play Spider-Man 2, like Insomniac Spider-Man 2, just to swing around the city. Like normal people go to therapy. I sit menacingly on top of rooftops waiting for sirens to go off so I can go beat the crap out of bad guys.
Which is also what Spider-Man does.
Exactly. And it's still so much fun because what I'll do is I'll get the Across the Spider-Verse soundtrack playing through my headset. So I'll be fighting people to the Spider-Verse soundtrack. And there's so many different types of skins. So you can play as Miles, you can play as Spider-Man Noir, you can be Miguel O'Hara, you can be like classic Spider-Man. It's awesome. I love it. You can be No Way Home Spider-Man. I love being the No Way Home Spider-Man. But yes, it's really funny because I would have loved to put down Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, but I just cannot bring myself to do that. And like I've been doing a lot of Fortnite still, and Fortnite necessarily isn't the best or my favorite video game. It's just the game that I can do the most of with my friends and stuff. So,
all right, that's I'll go next for my favorite movie that came out this year. I'm gonna go with I saw the TV Glow.
I heard good things about
it. It's really, really good. And then I'll do an honorable mention for Late Night with the Devil, which is like the most inventive horror movie I think I've watched in a really
Did that come out this year?
Yes, it came out this winter. But yeah, those are two definite recommends for me.
I did watch Late Night with the Devil, and I did really like that.
Yeah, it was really, really good.
Yeah.
And also I love Wicked, but I think I saw the TV Glow is the one since seeing it that I've thought the most about.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with that one.
Late Night with the Devil is a good one, though. I mean, I think at this point, anyone who's listening and has been a consistent listener, or just anyone close to me, will probably be able to easily guess my favorite movie. And yes, it is Deadpool and Wolverine. And yes, I did go see it 8 times in the theater. And yes, I stopped crying on the 7th. Yeah, I stopped crying like completely on my 7th watch, which is really funny because, I don't think I cry a lot at the movies, but it took me seven runs of Deadpool and Wolverine to stop crying.
I mean, I get it. I get it. There's some movies like that for me too.
Yeah.
Favorite TV show was even harder for me this year because I haven't watched that many TV shows this year that came out this year, but all of them have been great, except for Superman and Lois, which has been okay so far. I think I'm gonna have to go with X-Men '97. It was really close between that, Agatha All Along, and Arcane Season 2, But I think X-Men 97 is just so perfect for me and exactly what I want. Like, it was exactly what I wanted.
Okay, because I put all of my stuff, all of my answers on our shared doc, and you would see that my honorable mention was X-Men 97.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to put it down, but in terms of like how it, like, X-Men 97 was still a masterpiece, and I'm really surprised I'm holding a DC show over a Marvel show. Like, that's shocking to me, because I used to be like, there was a time like freshman year of high school where I was like strictly anti-DC, and I've matured since then. I've, been able to keep my mind open. But I just loved the way Penguin went. I thought it was a brilliant show. Like, X-Men was nice because you got to see the best of a lot of storylines. And that's why it was my honorable mention. Like, it just barely. It's like 51% Penguin, 49% X-Men 97.
But also X-Men 97 to me is just the best looking animation I've seen outside of maybe Arcane and Spider-Verse. But it also felt perfect for that.
Yeah.
And like, I don't think it's the best. I think, probably Arcane Season 2 or Interior Chinatown probably like technically better stuff, but like to me X-Men 9 is like that's where my heart is.
Yeah.
So my favorite album, this was a little rough for me. I feel like it's been a decent year.
It's been a good year for music for sure.
For me it's the best album for me has been Big Ideas by Remy Wolf. I don't know. It's just really good. It's a full album start to finish. Like, every song is great. I was listening to it again on the drive back up here, and there's some big bangers in there. And like it has a, like, it's not like a concept album, but it has a beginning, middle, end, and an epilogue. So I don't know. It's so good. It's so much fun.
Yeah. Me, on the other hand, I'm gonna have to give it to Foster the People, Paradise State of Mind. They did Pumped Up Kicks way back when, and they were very radio silent for years. They weren't putting out much, or like if they did put out anything, it was just singles. Like, they didn't release a full album. But then over the summer, they finally dropped a full album, and my dad and I were, freaking out because they didn't drop the album all at once. They would drop songs from the album, and then they finally dropped the whole album. And what they were giving us was really good, and it's really good house music. Like, if you just are trying to have like a chill, Friday, Saturday night, that's the stuff to listen to. So, really good.
All right, for best song. Oh man, I thought I was gonna here. No. It's for me. It's Good Luck Babe by Chappell Roan. I was like, man, there's some really good Haley Hendrix. There's a really good Haley Hendrix album, and I was like waiting for it for so long, but then just like. It has to be Chaperone.
That's the
I do like Good Luck Babe.
You don't gotta defend yourself.
It's such a good song,
right?
Such a bop.
She definitely rose to stardom, and it's clear that she's got some good music. My favorite song is going to be Chasing Low Vibrations, and I know there might be very few people that even know what that song is, but it gives me like the vintage vibe. And it's funny because that's their entire music video. It's like, it's the old like late 90s, early 2000s vintage vibe. And when I think of this song, I think of Timber Ridge, the neighborhood that we grew up in. Like it always has like such a, like, it's like a good trigger. Like, there's good triggers and bad triggers. And this is like a good trigger memory because like I think of like us like hanging out in your basement and spy camp and playing at Legos and on your little table in the basement and like playing like Super Mario Sluggers. Like that's the kind of songs that like the memories bring back in, and I'm just like, oh, like I think I've cried a couple of times to that song. And again, I don't cry during music that often, but like Foster the People really hit it out of the park for me.
Yeah. My favorite book from this year is The Imposition of Unnecessary Obstacles by Michael Older. It's like a sci-fi murder mystery. It's a sci-fi detective story like set. It's a second in the series. It's basically it's lesbian Sherlock Holmes, but like they're living in Jupiter. It's really really good. Like if you the series is called The Adventures of Moss and Pleedy. There's gonna be another one coming out this year, and those little novels have just been really great.
And then for my book, I put down on my doc, books like without pictures. No. And that's all I have to contribute.
All right. My favorite ongoing comic series, and this was hard for me because actually no, this was probably the easiest one. Not that there aren't a lot of great ones right now, because there are, but for me it was clearly Birds of Prey by Kelly Thompson.
Yeah, you wouldn't be quiet about that one.
And this is best ongoing, not limited. So best ongoing series. With a lot of artists but it's supposed to be Leonardo Romero and Jordie Bellaire, both of which have left the book recently. They've got other jobs. They've got busy people. Leonardo Romero is working on like the Spider-Man show. But yeah, that's been really good. I will do a shout out to honorable mention Absolute Wonder Woman. I think if that kept on going and stayed as good as the first two issues have been, then that might overtake it. Also by Kelly Thompson by Hayden Sherman and Jordie Bellaire. But there's only 2 issues, so I can't say it's the best ongoing series if I've only read 2 issues.
Sure. My favorite ongoing comic series would have to be the Wolverine right now. Just Wolverine, not Wolverine Revenge or, any of that. Just regular Wolverine. Because, yes, Wolverine has, launched back into, really trendy media as of late. But, I don't want to be the guy that was I liked Wolverine before it was cool. Because I'm not going to gatekeep like that. But I have been a fan for Wolverine for a long time. And, while, yes, I love when he's going berserker mode and, he's, complete animal, this ongoing series shows his more humanistic side, but also he does not hold back in the sense of danger. So, I've talked about this before where he's befriended the Wendigo. And, the Wendigo is just, some scared kid right now. And while, yes, the Wendigo sometimes goes crazy and attacks after Logan, he still makes, for the first time, he's holding back on his animalistic instincts to kill the Wendigo in order to, he's trying to be a better person. And I respect that.
Yeah, it sounds like a classic Wolverine book, but also just, not basic.
Yeah.
So that sounds good.
Yeah.
My favorite graphic novel or comic limited series to come out this year. This was a hard one for me to choose. There were quite a few good ones I read this year. At the end of the day, I think it's going to have to go to Canary by Scott Snyder and Dan Panosian. Dark Space's Dungeon almost beat it out. I kind of changed my mind at the last second, but Canary is just so good and not only the best, probably the best limited series this year, but such good horror. The art is amazing. It's very inventive. It's set in the 18. It's Western. It's like a Western set in the 1800s with eldritch horror. It's so good. It's Scott Snyder when he's writing indie horror stuff is when he's at his best. And this is an artist I've never seen before that just blew me away. And I will do an honorable mention to Suicide Squad Dream Team. It's by Nicole Maines, Eddie Barrows, and Ever Ferreira. Just because it's a group that's never worked together. This was Nicole Maines' first first series where she was the only writer, and she absolutely blew it away. And the art too is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Or do I introduce favorite graphic novel?
Yeah.
Okay.
Favorite graphic novel.
So I'm gonna say yes. I'm not gonna do one or the other. So my favorite graphic novel from this year, and it's not even from this year. It's one that you gave me. We swapped comics, and it has to be the Dracula one.
Oh yeah, by James Tynion IV.
Yeah, that one. I love the art style. It felt very, because I've always been I love vampires. So getting to see them in such an abstract way, because they, the comic really plays with a bunch of blacks, reds, and whites, and it makes for some really cool blood sucking or bats in flight and stuff like that. But my favorite limited series is going to be Deadpool and Wolverine World War III.
Okay.
So, what about you?
I remember. Oh, yeah, I just did that.
Oh, wait. Oh, okay. Oh, you just did limited series.
I don't know if I've read any pure graphic novels that came out this year. But,
Okay.
like I've read like limited series that just were collected as like.
I did really like Mr. Miracle too. I know that wasn't from this year,
It was
but
like
that
2017.
I know.
Yeah.
Um,
It was one of my favorite books.
Yeah.
My favorite comics event was Absolute Power by Mark Waid, Dan Mora, and like a bunch of other people. I don't think that not necessarily because like the main event blew me away. Like the main event was fine, but it has like the best tie-ins that I think I've ever seen in an event, and just the art has been fantastic. But also, how's Brainiac the crossover? I don't even know if it counts as an event by Joshua Williamson and Ralph Sandoval, because it was just in Superman in Action Comics. That was also really good. But I do think that it's going to have to go to Absolute Power for me.
Okay. For me, Weapon Extraction was a fun summer event that I got to see. It's been really cool, especially with the hype around Deadpool and Wolverine. This was pretty much used to promote that hype. But you got some cool variant covers where Deadpool and Wolverine, kind of mess around, and Wade Wilson has taken Wolverine through a bunch of different universes and dimensions, and it was very weird and wacky, but it was a fun little mini event that kind of occurred in some ongoing series, and I had fun reading it.
All right, and then for my favorite comic issue, it's gonna be Dark Spaces Dungeon number 5, the end of that limited series which was another one of my favorite books period this year, by Scott Snyder, Hayden Sherman, Jordi Belair. And it has, I don't want to like reveal anything, but it has maybe like because Scott Snyder, like he's admitted this, he struggled with endings before. That's not his strong suit. But this is like one of my favorite twist endings of all time.
Yeah.
And the art is great. The colors are great. Like every like page is written really well. But I was just blown away and absolutely shocked by this twist ending. But it also made so much sense. And it wasn't like just like a cheap M. Night Shyamalan thing.
Yeah. For me, this kind of piggybacks off one of the last things I mentioned, but Deadpool and Wolverine World War III had its issue number 3, because it was actually only a 3-part series. But the last issue was really, I took a huge liking to it because it made Deadpool really sad and pathetic. And it made Wolverine super compassionate and understanding of Wade Wilson. And there was the weird mutant creature where Deadpool was growing out of Wolverine's body. That was just straight up weird, but like, I'm kind of twisted like that. So it was like very interesting to see both of them gain their mojo back and them take down a crime syndicate, I guess is the best thing you can say.
I haven't read it.
I'm still really lost on why they're calling it World War III. But
was it a war at all, or is it just one of those things?
I don't remember it being much of a war.
Yeah, because like a lot of times in Marvel Comics they call something a war when it's just like a battle.
Yeah.
Or like just like the Civil War movie was just a fight.
Yeah.
In an airport. Once.
Yeah.
All right.
Hold on. I've got one more. I got one. You put all of these prompts down, and I love it. But what was your favorite character of the year? What was your character of the year?
Like a character created this year, or just...
any character that came out of 2024, or like rose to power. And
I'm gonna say, okay.
I kind of threw you a curveball.
Honorable mention to Amanda Waller because there's been some great Amanda Waller stuff this year, but I'm gonna have to go with Dreamer Nia Na has been really spotlighted in the comics, and she's been almost written by like the actor who like played her and the person who's written her the most, Nicole Maines. That miniseries was really good. Like she was key in like in Absolute Power and like some of its tie-ins, and like she's off there doing stuff now and like progressed the character past where she ever got in the show, and is like doing some interesting stuff with that. So I'm gonna have to say that's been my favorite character this year.
All right, my honorable mention is gonna go to G.I. Robot. actually.
I love J.J. Robot.
But my guy who takes the cake is ding ding ding. It's Deadpool, of course. I mean, my Spotify Wrapped was bye bye bye. Like that's like my top 5 songs. 4 of them came from Deadpool soundtrack.
That doesn't surprise me.
No, it didn't surprise me either. I was like, that's kind of funny though. And like the 5th artist I listened to most was the composer for Deadpool and Wolverine, which is weird. Not a lot of people listen to soundtracks, but whatever. Oh my God, we got through a lot.
All right, thank you everyone for listening to us today.
What a great season! What a great season we had.
And I think thanks everyone for listening to us today and throughout the.
So we will catch you back here. Let me check my calendar. We're gonna catch you right back here on January 9th.
Yep.
Of 2025. So we'll see you into the new year. And happy holidays, everyone.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. Oh, and
you got one more?
Yeah, I just want to say a quick shout out. Thank you for WCRD for letting us do this.
Thank you.
And thank you for all comics out there in downtown Muncie for being a great place to buy comics. Because without them, like, the show wouldn't be possible.
That is so true. All right. Have a safe and happy holidays, everyone. And we'll see you next year. Bye.